Can we talk about Jim Harbaugh real quick? Because this was a hot button issue on the show yesterday, and the comment section was pretty lit about this Michigan cheating scandal. I thought it was interesting that Jim Harbaugh actually addressed it in his LA Charger press conference yesterday. You know, the team that should be still playing in San Diego? Yeah. He coaches them now. And one of the things that I think is very interesting is Jim Harbaugh claims that he is 100% totally innocent of any of the charges.
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
Okay. Michigan fan. I'm talking to you, you poor damaged soul. He says he had no idea. How disappointed are you in Jim Harbaugh? His football program is, because here's what it means. If Jim Harbaugh had no idea, you weren't doing your job. You were derelict in your duties. Your football program was running rampant, out of your control. And basically, you were stealing money from the University of Michigan. That's what that means. Mm-hmm. I had no knowledge of it. So you just let the coaches and the players and your administrative staff just run wild. And this is the same guy that we've been telling you he's not a hero. This is the same guy that you went to court for, you've spent tens of billions of dollars defending, and he left you at the altar.
Well, and what's so incredible is that Michigan fan just takes it hook, line, and sinker. Like,
yeah, Ferris, you know what? He said he had no idea. Guess what? I believe him too. I believe him too. Because Jim Harbaugh is not a good football coach. If you want him to coach your team on the field, good football coach. If you need him to build a program, terrible football coach. He's not a leader. So when you say you believe him, I believe him too. I believe him too.
I don't believe that he had no knowledge. I don't believe. You know what I believe? I believe that Jim pulled one of the greatest schemes that we've ever seen in college football history. Not only on the game itself, but on the University of Michigan. And I believe that scheme is still being perpetrated on little innocent folks over here like Ferris Khan, who just believe this guy's words like they're the gospel for whatever reason. And what's incredible to me is I don't even have a reason to dislike Jim. Like, it's not like Jim killed somebody. It's not like this guy is like a criminal or something. He
didn't kick my dog.
Right? Like, it's not like I'm like, oh man, I woke up today and screw Jim Harbaugh. No, what I look at is, hey, you undermine the integrity of the game just on a baseline level. For any college football fan, that should be like a cardinal sin.
And now you are admittedly incompetent.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe you. You're telling us that you had no control over your coaching staff. I believe you. You're telling us that you were not good enough to beat Ohio State or any other significant team. And I believe you. I believe you. I'm all in, Jimmy. I believe you. You're not a good football coach. You're not a leader of men. You're not a maker of men. I believe you 100%. The Ferris, I'm with you. I believe him 100%. I think.
Wait, did that just happen? Did you and Ferris just agree on something?
You know, I think that all these idiots out there are like, oh, there's Connor Stallions was on his own.
Fine Steeler guy.
We now know that's not the truth. We now know you are the father, right? Like the idea, and I think Ferris yesterday was out here talking about he was a lone wolf. There's a mountain of evidence that says he was not a lone wolf. He was on the sideline at Central Michigan. Whether or not you want to wrap your head around it, Sharon Moore has turned over 52 deleted text messages. And by most people's account, there are hundreds more amongst the football department. There are 52 at a minimum that we know about that were deleted and recovered. And Sharon Moore is cooperating with that investigation.
It's not good, dude.
It is the idea that he did this on his own. Why did they fire him then? And why did they not? And again, I'm just asking for a friend. If Jim Harbaugh is as innocent as he says he is, why didn't they go in front of that judge? Why didn't they go in front of a judge in Michigan when they sued the Big Ten in the NCAA, asking for a stay of action against Jim Harbaugh? They were in court, ready to go, to stop them from suspending him the last 3 games of the year. The judge was a former Michigan football player in your backyard, a graduate of Michigan Law School. Why didn't you go before that judge? Oh, because the evidence was overwhelming. The evidence was overwhelming. And to this day, it's more overwhelming now than it was then.
Yeah.
Come on. It's wild to me that Jim Harbaugh has the balls to stand up there and say, it's totally innocent. Well, you enjoy that 10-year show cause that just put an end to your college football career.
Yeah.
Sharon Moore, good luck, friend. You're going to take a pretty big rip for this during the season. He is going to get suspended. Sharon Moore is going to have a show cause. His coaching staff from last year, there's talk about 6 coaches getting a show cause.
Yeah.
So if Connor Stalions was a lone wolf, and again, Michigan fan, this is what you can't get away from. Jim Harbaugh is guilty. If Connor Stalions was a lone wolf, Jim Harbaugh is guilty. If Jim Harbaugh knew what was going on, Jim Harbaugh is guilty. So the lone wolf argument on either side, the evidence is overwhelming that he knew, that the staff knew. And if they didn't know, which now is just impossible, we know they knew, based on the evidence in that notice of allegations. Just explain to me, how is it Connor Stalions, what did you say, a lone wolf or acted on his own, whatever the verbiage you want to use is. How is that a defense? It's not, because and if you're going to ride that, all you're saying is Jim Harbaugh's incompetent.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. So I'm here for it, man. Like I'm here for it. I'm here for the whole thing.
Yeah. I think that Jim Harbaugh is one of those people where it's just like, hey, you either love the guy or you hate the guy. And you're either going to choose to deal in reality and deal in factual conversation, or you're going to sit here and believe this guy hook, line, and sinker. And if you're the latter, I can't help you.
What's amazing to me is it's gone from we did nothing wrong to, oh, well, I mean, everybody does it, to he was a lone wolf and, Michigan's totally blameless.
You forgot about Ryan Day's brother investigating.
Right. Don't forget Ryan Day's brother, the PI.
Yeah.
Who you all tried to throw under the bus. And all the Michigan bloggers and the on 3/24/7 your mom's house.com.
Yeah.
Oh, we're innocent. You're not innocent. You're not you cheated.
You are who we thought you were from the beginning, dude.
You cheated, you got caught, and you won. You still won. They're not ripping your wins. They're not ripping your championship away. They don't vacate championships anymore. And I love in the comment section, like, bro, they vacated wins for Notre Dame. Yeah, great. Notre Dame cheated. We cheated. And didn't win, by the way. And Notre Dame was an academic scam. You guys remember that? What was that, 2013 or whatever? Notre Dame had people allegedly taking tests for players, and they vacated wins that year. So you're lucky that the NCAA is now toothless and that it's pretty widely believed that you're not ripping championship. And I love everybody who's like, death penalty, USC. That doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as the death penalty.
Yeah.
Are you going to take a 2-year postseason ban? I think at a minimum. Are you going to lose recruiting on and off campus? At a minimum. Are you going to take a pretty significant scholarship reduction? At a minimum. Are you still going to have to pay all of those scholarships? At a minimum. Are you still going to have to pay all of your revenue? You are. Are you going to take a revenue distribution reduction from the Big Ten? You are. Because that's how you're going to get Michigan. We can sit here and be like, oh, bro, they didn't win that championship. Yeah, well, unfortunately for you, Ohio State, we all watched it happen.
Yeah, and that's the hard part is that even though you did this, you still beat those teams in the playoff, in my opinion, straight up. I mean, I don't think that you were able to go out and scout Bama with regularity. I mean, you would never have, you wouldn't have said to yourself 5 weeks into the season, yeah, we're going to play Bama in the college football playoff, so better send Buddy down to Tuscaloosa. Like, you weren't doing that. You were scouting the Big Ten heavily. So what the haters of Michigan can't get away from is you still lost to a team that somehow, like you knew who they were and you still lost. And again, I always point this out specifically with Bama. Bama didn't lose because Michigan was better. Bama lost because they didn't execute in the game.
They didn't snap the football.
Come on, man.
I think the thing you can't get away from on both sides of this, Michigan was the most talented, I think the best team on the field. I don't even argue that. But you look at, for instance, Connor Stallions being on the sideline in Central Michigan coaching gear, videotaping Michigan State. Like, there's no getting away from that. And in the notice of allegations, they specifically say our investigation found that Connor Stallions was on the sideline at Central Michigan, videotaping Michigan State. And the thing that I love is, why else would he be at Central Michigan? Do you really think Central Michigan's trying to steal Michigan State's sign in-game live while it's happening? When he was not communicating with coaches, which again is in the narrative. He was there videotaping Michigan State signs so that Michigan knew what Michigan State was going to do.
Yeah, you would have had a better disguise had you wore a headset.
It's crazy.
Legitimately.
It is crazy to me. Pete Forte gifts 10 Monty Show memberships. Thank you, Pete. Appreciate that. Always a pleasure. Big Daddy Magic's a new member of the Monty Show.
Dude is back.
Love it. Big Daddy Magic, always good to see you. Big Daddy Magic always sends me broken Facebook links so I TikTok and Instagram, and he's always DMing me like broken links and stuff. I can never see the stuff you send me. Oak State James for $5. If Harbaugh didn't know he's guilty of not being a good supervisor, he should know what his people are doing. Well, it's not that he's guilty of being a bad supervisor. If he didn't know what his staff and coaches were doing, that's called a lack of institutional control, and it's a level 1 NCAA violation. And Jim claims to be innocent. Well, you self-reported and admitted COVID period recruiting violations. How innocent are you? Right? You did. And listen, you did what you had to do to win a national championship because you knew you weren't good enough to win without cheating.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. 100%. I understand it. It's a wee fence, Tanner says. Yeah, I totally agree. It's a wee fence. Welcome to the nightmare. Yes, thank you. Just had to hit the skip button. So tough. That was on my life.
Yeah, it's really difficult, man.
I'm saying. Sharon Moore knew sign stealer guy is not a lone wolf. Sharon Moore knew.
Yeah, and there's proof of that.
So the idea, the lone wolf thing,
it's a terrible argument.
It's just
a weak ass.
It is a cockless, ballless, gutless argument.
Yeah.
That he would, like a year ago, maybe. But then I just go back to, okay, he was a lone wolf. Are you telling me that vacuum salesmen didn't know?
Vacuums are my thing.
Blake Corum.
So You're telling me that Balake
Yeah.
had an LLC in his name with Connor Stallions, and he didn't have any idea what Connor Stallions was doing. They're friends. He had no idea what they're doing. They're business partners. He had no idea he was doing this. Oh, but Monty, he didn't know about that LLC. Connor Stallions forged his name. Why isn't Connor Stallions on federal charges then? That is a federal offense. No criminal charges here? I'm a little surprised. I know the FBI is busy chasing Donnie, but you're telling me they're letting Connor Stallions just slide on a federal offense. Fraud and forgery? Boy, Connor Stallions is living right, apparently. Come on, guy. San Diego State Glenn, apologize or deny. Harbaugh chose the deny route. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. James, I just hit the skip button too. I don't know why we have so many ads playing, but I appreciate
I know that in our members only group, we had some conversation about how, people don't like to stay to watch the show, and, we're burning people out with politics, but, YouTube's playing a bunch of ads because there's a few people watching. So, it's fine.
Nobody watches our show.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching our show. Red Wine, TCU beat Michigan because they used reverse sign stealing tactics. That's the only thing that makes the playoffs make sense.
Okay. Why are we going back to TCU?
Because they beat Michigan. I don't know how TCU beat Michigan, but the sad thing for Michigan fans is you guys just deserve better. And all the Michigan fans in the comments section yesterday, I totally agree with you. We sold our souls to the devil. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I think 90% of Michigan fans recognize that Ward Manuel and Santa Ono, and you sold yourself to the devil.
Yeah.
You begged and filleted and did everything you could do to keep the devil in your football department. And he still left you at the altar. He bailed on you knowing what was coming.